Hi, it's Agnieszka, and in this video, I'd like to talk about depression. Why and why do it in a video form? You know what? One of the features of depression is that our concentration is extremely bad, and we are struggling to process information, to read, to absorb information. And very often, if I give someone some information to read about depression at the start of treatment, they will come back and say that they have not done that. And it's understandable. Depression is going to affect your levels of concentration quite severely. Also, I'm doing this video because depression is extremely common. Extremely common. 1 in 5 people suffer depression at some point in their lives. Depression also is not a temporary state. It's not when we have had an argument with a friend. We had a bad day at work and the boss was not happy with us. We come back home and we say we're depressed because this and that happened. Depression is a more prolonged state, as we're in that state for much longer than a day or two. Depression is going to affect, it's going to change us. It's going to affect our mood, our feelings and emotions, the way we do things, so our behavior. But also, it is going to affect the way we think and the way we see the world. So, people very often report that they feel hopeless, helpless, that they feel like there is no way out, that they feel empty. They might feel edgy or angry as well, and it might affect our relationships with those around us. Um, so these are emotions, and the emotions tend to be very intense states where we kind of stay in that state, and what accompanies those emotions are usually negative thoughts. And um, in depression, we actually suffer from thoughts because we call these thoughts negative automatic thoughts. So there is a name for those thoughts in depression. So it is very important to know that it is part of depression. It's a symptom of depression. That's what goes with depression. It doesn't mean that we'll stay in this state forever, but it is part of depression. A lot of negative thoughts and a lot of negative feelings, we kind of zoom in on those and we stay in that state. Um, Depression also means that we will change the way we behave very often. We will withdraw from activity, will withdraw from social life, and you'll find yourself often, spending time by yourself in your flat or in your bedroom, very often sitting on the bed, thinking negative thoughts and feeling a lot of negative feelings. The thoughts often come in the form of images as well. So this is sort of what we call cognitive change. They would come in the form of images, intrusive images sometimes, pictures you don't really want to see. They just come to your mind. Very often we would dwell on the past experiences which were not pleasant, something we perhaps would not do that much when we're not depressed, but when we're depressed, we go back there and we, in a way, go back to the feelings, to the emotional states we were in when something unpleasant happened in the past. We call this particular phenomenon rumination. It's a very, very common feature of depression. Your sleep will be affected as well. People either sleep very little, might even suffer from insomnia. You might suffer broken sleep, or you will sleep too much. You'll sleep maybe 10 or 11 hours, and during the day, you'll take naps as well. Your appetite might be either extremely reduced. You will lose appetite, you will hardly eat, or you might overeat. Especially things like sugary things, cakes, easy sources of carbohydrate, because they boost the mood temporarily. So we try to reach for them when the mood lowers and when we are stressed. Um, Depression goes hand in hand with anxiety. So if someone suffers depression, it's almost inevitable they will have their anxiety levels will be very high as well. What happens usually when we lower the level of depression, the anxiety will go down as well. So it's like that kind of friend that depression has got anxiety. Um, there's probably lots to say about depression. I just wanted to give you an overall a picture of a variety of symptoms that you might be experiencing. And one final thing that I always say to everybody is to remember that depression will make you feel like it's just you and depression, like you're in a bubble, like you are extremely lonely, as if you were in a bubble or surrounded by a wall and you cannot break through that wall. And it's a very isolating experience to feel like that there's no one out there that can help you and there's nothing that can help you. However, I think it's important to know that this is also part of depression. Okay, so that bubble, it is actually possible to burst that bubble, but when we are in that state, we are so deeply in that state that we feel like that bubble is just us, it's part of us, and will not come out of that bubble. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I would really love to see some comments. So please let me know if you have experienced any of the symptoms I talked about, maybe at the moment, maybe in the past. And in the next video, I'll be talking more about thoughts, because in depression we suffer a particular kind of thoughts, and it always helps to actually know a little bit more how it actually works and what actually happens. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.